is going to be on how to read like a detective. I did this this flip chart. So let me know if you can hear it, okay? Today's lesson is going to be. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. Think about that. Do you know how to read like a detective? Think about a detective. What does a detective do? A detective solve cases. And a lot of times the way they solve cases is they use clues and different information, sometimes what they already know, how to help them in solving the case. I can read like a detective by using evidence from the text in order to answer right there questions. We're going to be talking about fiction text first, right there questions and fiction text. Well, right there questions are where in the text as you're reading, the answer to the questions that are asked are right there in the text. You don't have to search for it. It's right there in front of you. And some type of question, right there questions in fiction text is, why did the character leave the house? When did the story take place? Who is the main character? Those are questions that can be answered from looking directly at the text. Okay? I'm going to model this page. First day blogs. Tuesday, September the 8th, 7:35 a.m. It's the first day of school. Not my favorite day of the year. And I've got the first day blogs. Summer's over. No more late night movies. Time for homework. But on the other hand, I can't wait to see all my friends. My best friend Spring is in his usual spot at the kitchen table. I'm busy packing my backpack, putting in fresh pencils, new notebooks, clean papers. Everything is neat. Spring's pack is already a mess inside. Two things about Spring nobody can forget. One, he loves to eat. I'm going to stop reading right there because that sentence continues on the next page. But some of the right there questions that I can pull from this selection from what I just read. What day of the week does the story take place? Who is sitting at the kitchen table? And why is it not his favorite day? Okay, I'm going to go back and look at the text. And the first question is, what day of the week does the story take place? Right there. Okay? Who is sitting at the kitchen table? First paragraph, second paragraph. My best friend Spring is in his usual spot at the kitchen table. So who's at the kitchen table? Spring is at the kitchen table. The last question, why is it not his favorite day? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to start at the beginning and I'm going to skim through. I'm going to reread if I need to. It's the first day of school, not my favorite day. So why is it not his favorite day? Because it is the first day of school. Okay? Now, some other type of questions are think and search questions. Those are questions where you have to think about what the question is asking, and you're going to have to search in the text for the answer. It's not going to be right there in your face. So, and you also have to look, and you may have to look at multiple places. I mean, it might not be in one particular sentence. It might be in a section of the text. It might be in a paragraph in the text. Now, I'm going to read the next two pages. This sentence continues from that first page, and it says, but as much as he eats, he's still as skinny as his shoestring. That's how he got his nickname, String. And two, he's a mess. His desk, his backpack, his room at home, they're all a mess. String and I have been knowing each other like forever. We've watched our movies, ride bikes, play ball, and go to camp and stuff together. We share most everything. Since he's an only child, I even let him borrow my sister Lisa when he needs someone to help house him. Hey guys, Mama says, yawning as she comes into the kitchen. She pours herself a cup of coffee and thumbs through her music journal. Mama's teaching afternoon classes this semester at the junior college. Mornings will be much calmer because Mama's not rushing to get out of the house at the same time we are. So how do you two feel about going into fourth grade? Mama asked. Got a new teacher too. Miss Amarita Spraggins was supposed to teach fifth grade, but our teacher moved away. Now Miss Spraggins has taken over the 4T class. I met her in the store this summer. She acted like a little drill sergeant. What is our new teacher going to be like? I say, thinking out loud. Just then, Daddy and Lisa comes into the kitchen from the garage. It's good to have Daddy in town. His construction company is building a parking lot for a local hospital expansion project. So he won't be away this fall as much as he was last spring. Okay, I'm going to stop there because that sentence continues on the next page as well. Okay, now, some think and search questions. What type of teacher do you think Ms. Braggins is going to be? And this next one is using details from the text. How can you tell that he, Miami, doesn't like when his dad is away? Okay. First one. What type of teacher do you think Ms. Braggins is going to be? Where this is the section where he's talking about Miss Braggins. We're supposed to teach fifth grade, but our teacher moved away. Now Miss Braggins has taken over the class. I met her in the store this summer, and she acted like a Marine drill sergeant. So with that particular sentence, what type of teacher do you think she's going to be? Think of the Marines. Marines is the military, so they have to be strict. What else am I thinking here? Strict. Not necessarily mean. Let's say. Drill sergeant. Strict. She's going to be structured. Meaning everything has to be in order, okay? Now, the next question is saying, using details from the text, how can you tell that he, in Miami, doesn't like when his dad is away? Talks about dad down here, right here, talks about that. It says, it's good to have daddy in town. His construction company is building a parking garage for a local hospital expansion. He won't be away this fall like he was last spring. Okay, so how do you think he's going to feel? Right. It's good to have him. So that means he's probably going to be happy, glad. Okay. So those two questions, they were not actually in the text. We had to think and search and use clues and to help us figure out the answer to those questions. Okay? Next, we are going to do this one together.
Contact. Written and narrated by D.M.W. Lewis. Copyright 2018. Mrs. Red was by far the best English teacher in the United States. Some principals say she's even the best in the world. That's why the United States chose her for this secret mission. An alien ship had landed in Colorado, and it was up to Mrs. Red's teaching skills to save the human race. The military flew Mrs. Red to the alien landing site. It was in the middle of nowhere. They brought her into a huge tent full of soldiers and scientists, then gave her a safety suit. She was driven out to the ship in a military jeep. It looked like a purple pyramid that was taller than a skyscraper. Mrs. Red and the soldiers stood by the ship until a beam of light made them vanish into the air. They ended up in a bright room. Mrs. Red gasped at what she saw behind a piece of safety glass. 2 pink and blue aliens. They were wobbly shaped globs floating in the air with no eyes or mouth. They made googly sounds through the glass. Mrs. Red was frozen in horror, but knew what she had to do. She looked around the room and saw a chalkboard. It gave her a great idea. She wrote out the word teacher in big letters. She looked over at the aliens and pointed to the word. "This is teacher," she whispered in a shaky voice. She patted herself on the chest. "Teacher," she whispered again. The aliens puffed up and then shrank to normal size. They made a different type of googly sound. It was as if they understood what Mrs. Red was saying. One of them suddenly grew an arm and began writing something on the glass. Mrs. Red watched patiently as they spelled out a word. She read it over carefully to be sure. It spelled recess time in black. Mrs. Red sighed and shook her head.
Okay, now from that text.